Prince Jzef Antoni Poniatowski was born in Vienna, Austria in the Palatinski on May 7, 1763. He was baptized in Viennese Schottenkirche. Poniatowski was the son of Andrzej Poniatowski, the brother of the last king of Poland and the Grand Duke of Lithuania. His father died when Jzef was 10. His uncle then became his guardian, and the two enjoyed a close personal relationship that lasted for the rest of their lives. Maria Theresa was the godmother of Jzef's older sister, who was also named Maria Theresa, after the empress. Jzef was born and raised in Vienna, but also spent time with his mother in Prague, and later with his uncle, the king in Warsaw. Brought up in the ancient regime society, he was tutored in French and spoke to his mother in that language. He also learned Polish, German, and later, Russian. As a child, he acquired the nickname Prince Ppi, the Czech diminutive form of Joseph. He was trained for a military career, but also learned how to play keyboard instruments, and had a portable one which he carried with him later even during military campaigns. It was because of Stanislas' influence that Poniatowski chose to consider himself a Polish citizen, and he transferred to the Polish army at the age of 26. Sorry, I have to skip years until 1809. I can't hold this conversation between the King of Poland and Poniatowski. In spring of 1809, Poniatowski led his army against an Austrian invasion under the Archduke Ferdinand Karl Joseph of Austria-Est in the war that was regarded by Austrian high command as a crucial element of their struggle with Napoleonic France. At the bloody Battle of Raschin near Warsaw on 19 April, where he personally led his men in an infantry bayonet charge throughout his career, he did a number of these. Polish forces under Poniatowski's command fought to a standstill an Austrian force twice their number. In April 1811, Poniatowski went to Paris, where he represented the King of Saxony and Duke of Warsaw Frederick Augustus I at the baptism ceremonies of Napoleon's son. He stayed there for 4 months and worked with the Emperor and his generals on plans for the campaign against Russia. On 14 September, the Polish soldiers were the first ones to enter the Russian capital. By that time, however, Poniatowski, unlike Napoleon, was convinced that the campaign was doomed. The Polish corps fought in the battles at Chirikowo on 29 September and Vinkovo on 18 October, where Poniatowski saved Murat from a complete defeat by Kutuzov's forces. Regarding the retreat of the Grand Army, Poniatowski was badly injured during the Battle of Vyazma. He continued in active service for a few days, but his condition forced him to give his command to Jzef. He then continued the westbound trip in a carriage with 2 wounded aides, the Legion of the Vistula and Michael Clapperty. At the Berezino crossing, they barely avoided being captured by the Russians, but finally, on 12 December, arrived in Warsaw. After the disastrous retreat of Napoleon's army, and while recovering from his injuries, Poniatowski quickly undertook the rebuilding of the Polish army in order to replace the forces devastated by the Moscow campaign. On October 19, 1813, the bridge was successfully destroyed, but Poniatowski was accidentally shot by his allies, and he was drowned. His body was recovered 5 days later after his death. He was buried in Warsaw. Like many of his countrymen, he had wavered long before throwing in his lot with the French. For him, Napoleonic service had demanded a painful change of direction and loyalties. It had involved years of devotion and bloodletting. To have changed his loyalties yet again, as his master the King of Saxony did, was all too worrying for an infinitely weary and honest man. Like the rest of his generation, he hoped, he fought, he served, and only found rest in honorable defeat. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video. Goodbye.